Yeah.
We are learning. We are loving. We are praying and rejoicing every day. We are transforming. We are healing. We are connecting and inspiring every day. We are thankful for this life in every way. Oh, we are learning. We are loving. We are praying, rejoicing every day. We are transforming. We are healing. We are connecting and inspiring every day. We are thankful for this life in every way. We are thankful for this life in every way. We are thankful for this life in every way.
Welcome. Brandon, can you get this podium on too? All right. Are we on the podium? All right. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco, which is, as you know, a warm, welcoming, inclusive community where love is felt, truth is taught, lives are transformed, and miracles happen. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we study and put into practice empowering principles and tools for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We are all about creating extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationship with the loving God presence within each one of us and through our relationships with each other. And as you heard in the song we just sang, which features words from our mission statement, we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with the God within you, and with others, and that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, that you know that you make a difference, your life matters, and that the world is a better place because you're here. I know that no one is visiting us for the first time. As you know, when people are here for the first time, we give them a gift. It's a shell lei that has a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. And as you also know, please join us following the service for our hospitality hour. And know that if you would ever like to have a conversation about Unity Spiritual Center in particular or Unity in general, I always love to have those conversations. So please don't hesitate to contact me using the information printed on the back of the bulletin. We have a wonderful guest music director filling in for Michael. No easy feat to step into his shoes, but Patrick does it beautifully. So let's welcome Patrick Meyer back to
Thank you.
USC.
Thank you.
And he is going to lead us through our, is it a chant? Would you
Yes.
call it a chant?
It is a chant.
And what do you think? Should people stand up?
Yes, I think it's a good idea to stand
so
up.
Let's stand up and sing together.
So I need you to, you're going to sing along with me, and it's, you just very simple lyrics. Love will find a way, and it's going to go. Love will find a way. Here we go. Love will find a way. One more time. Love will find a way. A little stronger. Love. That sounds good. Love will find a way. I teach high school. Do you know that? School starts this week. So the students are coming back in. So I'm using you as my prep to welcome people back into the classroom. And you're doing a good job, okay? So I'll sing a verse and then you can join me on the chorus. Here I stand with an open heart, waiting to receive. I know Spirit will come to me because I believe. And here we go. Love will find a way. Again I say love will find a way. Everyone under the sun has a chance to grow ever closer to the one truth of all we know. And we sing love will find a way. Yes, it will. Love will find a way. I will use my thoughts and prayers to help me understand. We are blessed and all divine. Come and take my hand, and we sing love will find a way. Sing again, love will find a way. Can you clap with me? I say love will find a way. I say love will find a way. And we sing again, love will find a way. I like that love. Here we go. Love will find a way. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Aren't those high school students lucky to have you? So I am going to worship our candle. I'm going to light our worship candle as we sit back down and relax in our seats. Lighting the worship candle is something that I do every week, so you can see this flame, hopefully, from wherever you are seated, and be reminded that you have a divine flame inside of you, that you are an individualized expression of God. So as we continue to get comfortable in our seats and relax even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let's open our hearts now to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by Luke Cassipi. So here is Luke with today's daily word.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's Sunday, August the 14th, 2016, and the topic of today's daily word is grace. I live in the grace of God. Grace may appear in my life as forgiveness, a way through seemingly insurmountable challenge, other people, or a divinely inspired idea. Grace is evidence of the love of God that, while unearned, is still freely given. It often comes to me in ways totally unexpected and at a time it is most needed. I am surrounded and enfolded in God's love. One of the most beautiful ways that God's love reveals to me is through grace. While I cannot do anything to earn that grace, I can hold on to the faith that what God wants for me is always in my best interest. Whatever my circumstances seem to be, I look for the seed of blessing contained within. I find a confirmation of God's love in ways that sometimes seems miraculous. But each of us was given grace according to the measure of Christ's gift. Ephesians 4:7.
Thank you, Luke. And just a reminder that if any of you would like to read the daily word, we do have a sign-up sheet in the back on one of the tables and welcome you to give us the blessing of reading that Sunday's daily word. So now I, again, invite you just to really rest against the chair, and I am going to help us to take that message of today's daily word and really bring it down to our hearts. Because as we drink in the truth of the message that Luke just read, that we do live in the grace of God, and that God's love is confirmed all about us in many different ways. Let's turn now to that sacred center of peace within us and place our attention on the unlimited power of Spirit. Right here, right now, a sacred space is created by letting go of the busyness of our lives in the morning as we focus our hearts and minds on the divine presence, the Christ consciousness within each one of us. We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and to be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the feelings of connection, peace, and warmth that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community. And we hold the requests of our community, which are in the prayer box that you see on the altar. We hold each one of those in our hearts with love. We know that every single person represented in our prayer chest is enfolded in divine love, and that divine order is taking place in each of their lives. We hold the unwritten prayers in our hearts and in others' hearts with great love as well. And we also enfold the prayers of others in our nation and around the globe in our hearts, knowing that divine love and divine order is everywhere present. So let's take a few moments now in silence to send our love out to others. Thank you, dear God, for this precious hour, for this precious place, for the precious people in our community. Love, your unending, eternal love flows through us, and we bask in the joy it brings as we enter the sacred time of worship at Unity Spiritual Center. And so it is. Thank you, God.
Okay, I'd like to sing this song for you, and I know the theme of today's sermon is going to be about dedication. This is a song about not giving up and not quitting. And I had the privilege of seeing Gladys Knight a couple weekends ago, and she's 72. And I remember growing up with Gladys Knight, listening to her, and it was a beautiful performance to see. And seeing someone at that age still giving everything she had and being very gracious. And it pivoted back to a time about 37 years ago, actually, when I saw Ella Fitzgerald in the same kind of circumstance, where I just wasn't quite sure what this performer was going to be like at this stage, and they were just as vital as ever and very inspirational as I took in the performance. And so this song is called "Don't Count Me Out." All right. When I feel lonely and I'm filled with doubt, those hard time lessons I can do without. But sure as the sunrise, gonna face another day. With love in my heart, I can find my way. Don't count me out, 'cause I'm not done yet. I've been down before. I'll be back, you can bet. I know I've got problems hanging round my door, trials and tribulations that life has in store. But I'm dedicated to making a change. With love in my heart, I'll get back in the game. Don't count me out, 'cause I'm not done yet. You know I've been down before. Are you ready to sing with me? Are you ready to sing with me? Because you're going to answer me in this chorus, okay? So I'm going to go. Don't count me out. Don't count me out. I'm not done yet. I've been down before. I'll be back, you can bet. Let's sing it again, yeah. Count me out. I'm not done yet. I've been down before. All together now. I'll be back, you can bet. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. Don't count me out. I've been down before and I'll be Simone Biles, Simone Manuel, Carrie Walsh-Jennings, who I really love because she doesn't hyphenate her name like me. My last name is Oman Shannon. I don't hyphenate, she doesn't hyphenate. So there are at least two of us in the world who are trying to pioneer that ground. Okay, so hold on one second. Was it me? I didn't turn it on. Is that it?
Yeah, now it is.
Okay. All right. Whoa. So that was my fault. I forgot to turn on the mic. But don't count me out. I'm coming back now. So at any rate, the Olympics, pretty exciting, right? We've seen all these incredible women athletes, men athletes, not to mention Michael Phelps, right? Pretty amazing. And when I was thinking about this idea of dedication, talking about dedication, I wanted to find out how dedicated Michael Phelps had been to get where he is today. As you know, if you've been reading the papers or if you've been watching TV, he now has broken an ancient history record. He is the most celebrated Olympian ever. And he's won 28 medals, 23 of them gold. Quite amazing. So I went back to just kind of see what was it in him that made him so dedicated to the sport of swimming. And I found out that from the age of 11, he spent every single day swimming for many consecutive years. Every single day. Christmas, his birthday. In fact, in the video interview that I saw, the commentator, the interviewer said, "You swam on your birthday?" He said, "Oh yeah, twice. Twice. I worked out twice on my birthday." So that's a real dedication, isn't it? That's really dedicating your life to something pretty impressive. And when he was asked why he did that, Michael Phelps said, not wanting to lose. He did it because of not wanting to lose and wanting to do something that no one had ever done before. And he certainly accomplished that goal. So that's dedication, and that's what I'm going to be talking about for the next 3 weeks. We're talking today about dedication in our personal lives. Next week we'll be talking about being dedicated in our relationships, and then finally being dedicated in our communities and in the world. And as you'll see in the study guide, which is in your bulletin today, the August study guide, which is on dedication, the word dedication comes from a root word that means to consecrate. And what that means is to make holy, to make sacred. It also means giving your life over to some purpose. And that, of course, is what we've been watching all week. We've been watching people who gave their lives over to the purpose of potentially being the very best in the world. Now, clearly, being an athlete, being an Olympic athlete, is not something that everyone can do. And I think it's very safe to say that there's nobody here in the room who will ever be an Olympic athlete, right? What kind of shocked me, though, was the realization that my own daughter won't ever be an Olympic athlete. She only just turned 13, but already it's too late for her to become an Olympic athlete. So to become that kind of champion, one needs to start very, very young. A lot of us didn't know at that age, maybe still don't know, what exactly it is that we want to dedicate our lives to. But the point of what we're going to be exploring here today is that each one of us needs to be dedicated to something, and in fact is dedicated to something, which I'll tell you about. I'll explore in a little bit in a few minutes. But this idea of dedication is something that's so important. And why is it important? It's important because through dedication to something, whatever it is, now it may not be as grandiose as, becoming an Olympic champion. Maybe it's just being a good gardener. Maybe it's just having a beautiful garden in your front yard. But giving yourself to something, dedicating yourself to something brings fulfillment into your life. It brings meaning into your life. So that's why we want to become dedicated, is because without some kind of dedication, our lives are pretty empty. And when you start this, process of thinking in your own minds right now as I'm talking, what am I dedicated to? You might find that you're dedicated to your family. You might find that you're dedicated to work, to your work. You might find that you're dedicated to faith. Obviously, you're, dedicated to faith if you're here today. You might find that you're dedicated to some combination of all three and other things that I didn't mention. So, we kind of covered the why. Why do we want to dedicate our lives to something? It's because it gives our lives meaning and focus. How do we live it out? How do we live out a dedication? Does it mean that we have to do what we've seen these Olympic athletes do? Just push ourselves to the very limit? Well, I found a very interesting suggestion about how we do this in the words of Martha Graham, who many of you know was a wonderful and famous dancer. And Martha Graham said this. She said, "I am a dancer. I believe that we learn by practice. Whether it means to learn to dance by practicing dancing or to learn to live by practicing living, the principles are the same. In each, it is the performance of a dedicated, precise set of acts, physical or intellectual, from which come the shape of achievement, a sense of one's being, a satisfaction of spirit. One becomes, in some arena, an athlete of God." Now, I really love that phrase, an athlete of God. Isn't that fun? That she would phrase it in that way. And what she's saying here is that all we need to do to become an athlete of God is just to practice whatever it is that we've dedicated ourselves to being. As Patrick, I'm sure, can tell you as a high school music teacher, it all boils down to practice, right? Whatever it is, or John, who's a cyclist. I'm sure you didn't become a great distance cyclist, the first time you got on a bike, right? It was practice. We just dedicate ourselves to whatever it is, and we do it little by little, by keeping our focus in mind and practicing. And then by doing that, we realize those words that Martha Graham said, the shape of achievement, a sense of one's being, a satisfaction of spirit. Little by little, we become that athlete of God. So our Unity co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they were athletes of God, weren't they? They were awesome athletes of God. In fact, they were so dedicated to their teachings, to this movement we call Unity, that in 1892 they wrote down their dedication, and they called it that. They called it a dedication and covenant. So here's what they wrote back in 1892. "We, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all we have and all we expect to have, to the spirit of truth, and through it to the Society of Silent Unity. It being understood and agreed that the said spirit of truth," I love the legalese in this spiritual covenant, "it being understood and agreed that the said spirit of truth shall render unto us an equivalent for this dedication, in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want without our making any of these things the object of our existence. In the presence of the conscious mind of Christ Jesus, the 7th day of December, AD 1892, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore. That was their dedication and covenant. Now, what I love about this, I love a lot of different things, but one of the things I really love about it was this expectation that Spirit was going to take care of their every need. They believed that if they are going to dedicate themselves to being athletes of God, Spirit's going to come through too. Spirit is going to supply all the things that they need so that they don't need to make those the object of their existence. So I just wanted to get this inner conversation going within you. What are you dedicated to? What are you dedicated to? What is so important to you that you would do it on your birthday, maybe even twice, or that you would do on Christmas? Now, some of you may know the answer to that immediately. Others may not have a clear idea of what you're dedicated to. But it's important to note, and this is what I'm coming back to, it's important to note that whether you're clear about what you're dedicated to or whether you're not, the point is that you are dedicated to something. It's kind of like the old axiom, not to choose is to choose. Have you heard that? And the idea is that if you don't make a decision, you're still making a decision. Something's happening. And I think the same can be true of dedication. Not to be dedicated to something is to be dedicated. It's just not necessarily to be dedicated to something that's going to bring your life fulfillment, joy, meaning. If we're dedicated to internet surfing, if we're dedicated to junk TV, if we're dedicated to shopping, if we're dedicated to gossiping, whatever it is, we're all dedicated to something. So the invitation here is to become dedicated to something higher. Remembering again that root, the root of the word dedication, to consecrate, to make holy, to make sacred. The idea of giving oneself for a higher purpose, something larger than you. So what I wanted to do today is to give you a longer guided meditation to maybe get some more information about what you might be dedicated to. So if Ethel will turn the lights down, let's see what Spirit has to say about what you are personally dedicated to, or what you could be personally dedicated to. So I invite you right now to lean back in your chairs. You'll begin to hear the beautiful music played by Patrick. And just feel that seat back against your back, supporting you, knowing that you're held, just as you're supported by the chair. You're supported by the divine. And I invite you to take a few slow, deep breaths, knowing that there's nothing that you need to do right now. Nothing at all, except to open yourself to Spirit. So I want you to imagine yourself in your favorite place in nature. And as you look up, imagine that you see a beautiful rainbow arching across the sky. Just feel yourself completely safe and completely at peace as we focus on each color of that rainbow in turn. So first look at the bottom band of the rainbow, the shimmering red of the rainbow. And imagine that you're sitting on a red cushion in your favorite nature spot. The color red, as some of you may know, represents the life force, your vitality, your strength, which is the very foundation of creating your vision. And now, notice the orange-colored band of the rainbow. As you look at it, feel the energy that emanates from it just below your navel. The color orange represents creativity, all the creative power that you need to make your vision a reality. Now notice the bright yellow band of the rainbow. And as you do, feel the energy around your solar plexus at the center of your being. The color yellow is associated with your will, with your mind. And as you feel it, notice that you are becoming even more relaxed. And now, moving up that rainbow, notice the color green. That beautiful, shimmering green. And feel the loving energy emanating from your heart. Green is the color that's associated with the love chakra, with your heart. And it's also associated with peace. So just feel a wave of peace spreading throughout your body. And now we'll look at the band of blue in the rainbow, the color of the sky, sometimes the color of love. And just imagine that same color of blue gently radiating from your throat, the center of communication. And moving upward still, look at the indigo band of the rainbow, the color of intuition and knowing. And imagine that color radiating from your forehead, making all things clear. And finally, look at the last band of the rainbow, the violet band. And then visualize that beautiful color of violet radiating from the top of your head, connecting you with the life force of the universe. You feel your oneness with all. You have become a rainbow. And just notice how relaxed and peaceful you have become, emanating these beautiful shades of light and energy, fully aligned with the divine. And as you sit on that red cushion, feeling so relaxed in your favorite place in nature, you look around at your surroundings, the sky, the landscape, and just rest in those rays of color, those rays of healing and cleansing energy, which are now cascading over and through your body, washing away all your worries and invigorating every cell in your body. And feeling so peaceful, so relaxed, so safe, and so aligned with God. You begin now to examine what it is that you're dedicated to, or what it is that you want to be dedicated to. Begin to examine that vision or that goal, that thing that you want to dedicate your personal life to, that you have been starting to identify for yourself. And just share with the divine the deepest desire of your heart. So as you take this moment to share with Spirit your goal and aspiration, know that if you haven't yet identified one, then just be with God and see what comes up. It doesn't have to be the goal of a lifetime. It can be a small goal, something small that you dedicate yourself to at this point in time. Something that you know will move you forward at this particular time in your life. And with that, project on the screen of your mind your chosen goal. And just make it as vivid and real as you can. Notice details, sights, sounds, anything that makes the picture more real to you. And now put yourself in that picture. and see yourself being dedicated to your goal, whether it's a large one or a small one. See yourself living your goal. And gently now begin to fade out the picture and ask God, ask Spirit, what you need to do in order to reach your goal. And take a moment to listen to what Spirit says. And now project on the screen of your mind an image of your future, say in 5 years' time. See yourself happy, healthy, and in control of your life. Your dream, your vision, that which you have been dedicated to has come true with God's help. And feel the gratitude right now in your body as you imagine that. Imagine yourself with that goal, that aspiration achieved. And full of gratitude, now ask Spirit what you can do. What is it that you feel called to do out of that sense of complete fullness and gratitude? Just listen for what comes up. And thank God for that guidance. And now it is time to gently return back to this place and time, this outer sanctuary, knowing that you can return at any time to your inner sanctuary. And again, look up at that rainbow in your mind's eye. First, you're surrounded by the color violet, and then bathed in indigo light. You see the band of blue, the blue light, which softly returns to green. And now that green light turns yellow, changes to orange, changes to red light again. And as that light dissipates and fades, begin to stir, perhaps moving your fingers or your feet, and returning now to the sanctuary, feeling at peace and refreshed. And if you would like to jot down some notes that came from your meditation, just hold your hand up and an usher can bring you a piece of paper as we start now to come back to conscious awareness and open our eyes. We give thanks that there is but one power and presence, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. And so it is. Thank you, God. Did you receive something from your meditation? Some clarity, perhaps, or conviction? And if not, just know that more things may come up as you sit with that question. What is mine to dedicate my life to right now, large or small? So, here at Unity Spiritual Center, as evidenced by hearing the dedication and covenant of Charles and Myrtle Fillmark, we have some inspiring teachings, and we also have a very incredible mission, compelling values, and a vision by which we strive to live. And I invite you to join with me in saying them aloud. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are: we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this beautiful space, feeling inspired by our vision, our mission, our values, feeling enriched by the beautiful music that we've heard today, by our beautiful surroundings, and by the wonderful community that we have here at USC. Let us be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected today to Unity headquarters and to the Habitat for Humanity. So let's take a moment now to hold our tithes and love offerings in our hands, perhaps placing them next to our heart as we say our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Okay, sorry. This is a song that I've adapted using parts of an Apache blessing. So it's a song called Beauty of Our Days. And I know that there's been some people who play percussion. Anybody play percussion in here or play drums? Any drummers? I know we have a few drummers or percussion, so why don't we just make it a jam a little bit? What do you think? Is that all right? The sun gives you strength by day. When you rest when the moon's at play. May the rain wash away your tears. Closer to the truths that we've kept. Universe large and small. Takes us to the this I hope you know, as you find the beauty of your life. You clap with me now. That you love and the love that you live, na 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 na. Say na na as you find the beauty of your day.
Thank you so much
Well,
for making our day more beautiful, Patrick. And to our percussionists, Ron
Yeah.
Willis and Ken Coleman. So please join with me in blessing our offering. Send the blessing behind me. Dear God, we give you thanks
for the many blessings that are in our church this very moment. Expressing a brand new magnificence to be all that we can be. We are filled with a mighty faith that empowers and frees us to live our divine purpose and serve our community with excellence. With deep gratitude for your unlimited good, for the infinite possibilities that are ours to choose, we step out with clarity, focus, ease, and grace.
And I want to thank all of those giving service today, including our ushers, Ethel St. Juan and Ken Coleman, our greeter, Leona Washington, Candy and Rosa, I know, have been busy in the kitchen, getting something delicious prepared for you for hospitality, and Sylvia for her help with Children's Church. Let's give all of them. And Luke Cassidy for reading the Daily Word. Let's give all of them. And just a few announcements to make. We have another anniversary planning committee meeting today, right at 12:15. So you have just enough time to grab something, come back into the sanctuary. We're going to meet from 12:15 to 1. For those of you who don't know or who don't fully know, we are going to have a big gala on Saturday, November 5th to celebrate our 70th anniversary. And see if I can remember to turn this on. We're going to have a big gala on Saturday, November 5th, save the date, to celebrate our 70th anniversary. We've been a congregation for 70 years this year, and we are planning a really wonderful celebration. That's why we've been inviting former ministers back. We're going to have some wonderful looks back and some surprises for you. So do be sure to come to that, save the date for that, but also do come join us for planning a celebration that will be remembered for many, many years. We could use your wonderful ideas always. So that's going to be 12:15, 10 minutes from now. I also want to let you know that Neil Volley, our Unity historian, as you know, he's been giving private consultations on how to use intuition and affirmations. He's going to be here. The first slot from 1 to 2 has been taken, but if you're interested in meeting with him privately from 2 to 3, that is still available. Next week, I'm going to be holding a membership class. So this will be the last membership class of the year. I think most of you are members, but if you're not, please do consider that or tell people who you know might be interested in becoming a member about that. Next week, we've got a full roster of things. On Monday, the 22nd, we've got Women's Life Coaching. On Wednesday, the 24th, we have ADD. And Mary Ellen, would you like to talk a little bit about that, just so people can know what it is you're going to be doing on the 24th, and they can tell friends who might be interested?
Well, I'm going to be talking about being a good advocate for your ADD children and what it takes to understand how to approach the school systems and other people who may be interacting with your children so that you can have a better experience in social day and helping them understand the many aspects that go into being ADD, that it's not just behavioral issues, it's also nutritional and different kinds of learning profiles and things like that, so that they have a better understanding of how they can support their children and their families.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so please tell your friends if you know anybody who would be interested in coming. That's a really great opportunity for them. Also want to tell you we're going to try something different. We had a request to maybe have more possibilities for showcasing our talent. So we are going to debut our first open mic night. It's going to be Wednesday, August 31st. Everybody will get 10 minutes. You can sing, you can say a poem, you can play an instrument, you can dance, you can do anything you want to do. You can talk about your artwork. Anything you want to do, you have the opportunity to share your talent for 10 minutes, and then depending on the number of people we have, maybe we'll go another round. But it's just for fun. It's just to give people an opportunity to express themselves. So open mic night, Wednesday, August 31st from 6:30 to 8:30. I won't drop the mic because I just learned how to turn it on, but it's going to be a really fun opportunity. And then last but not least, we're going to have our town hall meeting on August 28th, the last Sunday of the month. So let's bring in our kid or kids.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine. This little light of mine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And we made little medicine bags. So we read a story about a little boy that was walking along the forest and a stone started speaking to him. So then in the lesson we learned that, in the medicine bag you put what speaks to you, and it could be anything, from a little stone to a shell to a little note, a picture, and then you carry it.
Something you make.
Or something. And then you can put it, where can you put it? Put it in your pocket, close to your heart, in your car, under your pillow, before you go to sleep. So it's basically kind of like a little flip chart.
So neat. That's so neat. Wow. What a great thing to do. So let us bless our children. We love
You, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. We do it now. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our creator, family all are we. Let me walk my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin